It looked like Adam Silver has found himself in some serious hot water over the management of the WNBA, and is they faking ratings?
Adam Silver just discovered a cardinal rule the hard way: never get in the way of Caitlin Clark's spotlight. What began as a harmless interview erupted into a PR firestorm, forcing him to retreat quicker than a referee reversing a bad call. Now word is he's essentially pleading for Caitlin to stick around after her huge offseason deal sent shockwaves through the league. Should the WNBA be apologizing to her or thanking her? Adam Silver likely expected a nice quiet week, a few interviews, some talk about growth, and maybe a couple of fancy buzzwords before moving on. Instead, he stumbled right into the WNBA's biggest controversy of the year. And frankly, at this stage, calling it a controversy seems generous. The moment he uttered Caitlin Clark's name, things spiraled downward fast.
He stepped out and started talking about the crazy nonsense of a civil war that's going on between Iron Man or Iron Woman, Kathy Engelberg, and Captain America, Nafisa Collier.
Let's back up. Silver joined NBC News for what was meant to be a low-key chat about leadership and league expansion, the standard, polished discussion on progress and inclusivity. But somewhere amid the historic growth and positive relationships, he chose to address the WNBA's internal struggles. That's when he voiced the unspoken truth. The WNBA doesn't only have economic problems, it has relationship problems. That statement landed with the force of a flagrant foul because, put simply, he confirmed what fans had been yelling about all season long. The league is fractured from within, and with that, social media ignited. Silver probably believed he was being transparent, but transparency in the PR world, that's like striking a match in a fireworks depot. Players gave him the side eye. Fans started dragging him, and the internet declared him the man who finally conceded the WNBA is in chaos. The ironic part, he wasn't wrong. The WNBA has issues stacked higher than Caitlin Clark's three-point record. There are players challenging refs weekly, executives dodging interviews, and Kathy Engelbert acting like all is well. But the instant Silver brought up relationship issues, it was seen as him throwing Kathy under the bus, which honestly isn't entirely off base. Cause let's be real, he sounded like a manager who just found out his employee destroyed the office copier and is now trying to manage the fallout without firing anyone. He praised Kathy first, naturally, noting she's overseen historic growth, but then he instantly followed up with, "We still have big relationship issues with players." So what is it, Adam? Unprecedented growth or a total breakdown in communication? You can't boast about rocket-like success when your athletes are hinting at a lockout online.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says Caitlin Clark has set the world on fire. Silver didn't reveal much about their brief conversation, but his admiration for Clark's achievements couldn't have been clearer. Speaking on FanDuel Sports Network, he said Caitlin Clark set the world on fire, not just this community. And it's easy to see why, from dominating college basketball at Iowa, where her famous number 22 jersey was retired, to becoming the first overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft, Clark has been unstoppable.
Now, before we get to the apology, let's consider why Silver's remarks struck such a chord. It's because Caitlin Clark is more than just another player. She is the very reason the WNBA is getting mainstream attention at all. Whenever she plays, viewership soars. Whenever she speaks, social media lights up. Whenever she so much as sneezes, the web produces 10 new articles.
Just own up and step down. I believe that's what should happen. Kathy need to just walk away. We're going off into the sunset. Well, the half-bright sunset, I should say, because it ain't going to be a good goodbye. But I feel like at this point, she going to have to step down. Stephen A. Smith said it last week, and I'm saying it right now.
So when Silver delivered his leadership speech and seemed to minimize her impact, fans felt he was disrespecting the very person driving his league's newfound relevance. And frankly, they had a point, because this was the reality behind the curtain. Caitlin Clark had just inked another huge offseason speaking contract, reportedly valued at almost $500,000 for each event. She is essentially a money printing machine without ever touching a basketball. All the while, the league has been desperately trying to project an image of self-sufficiency without her. That's why Silver projected confidence, describing the league's progress as a rocket trajectory. But the fan base wasn't convinced, because the data, the actual data, contradicts the official narrative. Reports emerged that same week asserting WNBA Finals ratings had doubled. However, Nielsen conveniently altered its counting method this year, incorporating bars, airports, and random hotel TVs into its figures. So yes, the ratings appear stronger, but only due to revised arithmetic. It's akin to saying you're taller because you're wearing platform shoes. Fans saw through the deception. They accused the league of fudging the numbers to create a false impression that Caitlyn isn't the primary attraction, and that's when Silver's relationship issues remark amplified the problem, making it seem he was defending Kathy Engelbert over the players, especially the one player who made those ratings a reality. Within hours, hashtags were trending, and Silver apologized to Caitlyn. WNBA fixed them. Even impartial fans started posting things like, "How can you boast about growth when your own players don't trust you?" And in truth, they were right, because if you actually listen to the players, they are beyond frustrated. You have Nneka Ogwumike criticizing leadership on national TV, Sophie Cunningham alluding to a potential lockout, and Candace Parker revealing Adam Silver contacts her more than her own commissioner. That last part was particularly telling. On her podcast, Candace shared that Adam personally reached out when she had a baby, when she retired, and when she secured her Amazon contract. But Kathy Engelbert, silence. That sound, that's the league's credibility crumbling. Even Sabrina Ionescu admitted she has a better relationship with Adam than with Kathy. That's a dynamic that shouldn't exist. So yes, by the time Silver made his growth speech, fans were already seeing past the PR facade. Then the clip went viral, him claiming the issues were personal. In other words, everyone behind the scenes can't stand each other. It's like observing a corporate family dinner where the parents are all smiles while the kids are waging a food fight under the table. And just when it seemed it couldn't get worse, he brought up Caitlin Clark again. He aimed for a neutral tone, but every word he spoke made it seem like he was ignoring that she was single-handedly propping up the league's relevance. The internet was unforgiving. The comments poured in. "Bro, you need to beg Caitlin Clark to return. She is your rating. Without Caitlin, you're just selling tickets to empty arenas." Adam Silver talking historic growth without mentioning Caitlin Clark is like pretending Taylor Swift didn't fill her own stadium. Things turned sour quickly, and the craziest thing, Silver is aware of how bad this appears. He's among the most skilled commissioners in professional sports. He typically avoids such rookie PR blunders, but this time, he completely fumbled it. Sources from within the league even claim he's been in quiet crisis management mode, contacting Caitlyn's representatives to smooth things over. In short, an apology to her. He reportedly told her his comments were taken out of context and that he deeply appreciates her contributions to the sport. He also hinted at a desire to include her more in league-level decisions. So yes, he's essentially begging her not to pull a Tom Brady and pivot to a full-time media career. Because let's be honest, with her off-season earnings, Caitlyn no longer needs the WNBA. She has endorsements with Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, and many others. Her public speaking engagements pay more than her entire season's salary. She could, if she chose, take a year off and still earn millions. That's the fear gripping the league right now, because if Caitlyn chooses to step away even for a short time, it's game over. Attendance plummets, merchandise sales dive, and TV ratings crater. She isn't just an athlete, she embodies the WNBA's marketing, PR, and fan base all at once. So yes, when people claim Adam Silver is apologizing, it's no exaggeration. He's not pleading on camera, obviously. But behind the scene, he is definitely trying to keep her on side, and that's bizarre because the dynamic is supposed to be reversed. The players typically need the league more than the league needs one single player, but that demonstrates the immense power Caitlin Clark wields today. She has transformed the WNBA into something unprecedented, a league whose fate rests on one person's name, and frankly, that is both remarkable and alarming. It shows what one superstar can achieve, but it also reveals the system's fragility. Because if your entire historic growth is contingent on one player's loyalty, you don't have a business plan. You have a high-stakes gamble. Now, for the truly ironic part, Adam Silver attempted to conclude his interview on a high note. He smiled, looked directly at the camera, and declared, "I'm confident we can fix these issues and keep this league on a rocket trajectory." Bro, that rocket has already hit the moon, crashed, and burst into flames. Every fan who saw that clip thought, rocket trajectory, to where? Straight into chaos? Because at present, between the ratings fiasco, the player discontent, and the leadership crisis, the only thing skyrocketing is the league's negative press, and that's the reason the apology is being handled discreetly, behind closed doors. Silver understands that if Caitlyn publicly pushes back, the league's reputation will suffer another devastating blow. She wouldn't even need to be harsh. A single tweet, one sarcastic remark, and the headlines would write themselves. Caitlyn Clark challenges WNBA leadership once more. So he's working to preempt that, but the fans can already feel it. They're calling him desperate, accusing him of groveling to the player who has unintentionally become his superior. Because let's be direct, at this moment, Caitlyn Clark is in charge, and Adam Silver realized it far too late. So after that NBC interview went viral, Adam Silver's PR department must have shifted into full crisis mode. One moment he's discussing growth and relationships. The next he's being flamed online for acting like Caitlyn Clark isn't the sole reason people are even watching. And honestly, you can't fault the public's reaction, because the simple truth is this: the WNBA finally captured mainstream attention this year, and everyone is aware of who made it happen. Caitlyn Clark didn't just attract fans, she brought in a completely new demographic: families, young girls, and even NBA fans who hadn't seen a women's game in decades. She transformed a niche sport into must-see television. So, when the man in charge of both the NBA and WNBA offhandedly discusses relationship issues, rather than thanking the player sustaining his product, yes, that's not going to be well received. That's why reports indicate Silver has been attempting to make amends with her privately. He's been relaying messages via her reps, trying to mend that bridge. He knows that losing Caitlyn Clark, even just symbolically, would be a public relations catastrophe, and if you believe that's an overstatement, just observe what occurred when she was injured. Viewership dropped immediately. Ticket costs fell. Fans were no longer interested in historic growth. They were interested in Caitlyn Clark. This is why the apology is so critical. Silver won't say it publicly, but the WNBA without Caitlyn is like Netflix without Stranger Things. Sure, it still exists, but no one is talking about it. The wild thing is that Caitlyn has not uttered a single disparaging word about him. She has remained quiet, composed, and concentrated on her off-season preparations, which likely makes him even more on edge. Because silence from someone with that much influence, it's a powerful tool. If she chose, she could torpedo Kathy Engelbert's career with a single perfectly timed remark. And Silver is aware of this. That's why it's said he's pleading for her to remain engaged, offering her more influence in marketing, player relations, and strategic planning. But let's be realistic. Caitlyn has no need for meetings or official titles. She possesses a level of influence that money cannot buy. When she attends an event, it sells out. When she delivers a speech, she earns more than half the league's players make in a season. She has become the human billboard the WNBA has always lacked. And that is precisely what is frustrating the other players. Because while Silver is preoccupied with apologizing to Caitlyn, others are wondering, where is our support? The chasm is becoming more apparent each day. Caitlyn is on magazine covers, while veteran players are on Instagram asking for improved travel conditions and salaries. That is the very problem Adam Silver inadvertently exposed. The league is not unified, and until that is resolved, no amount of carefully crafted press releases will remedy the situation. Now this is where it gets comical. After all this turmoil, Silver attempted to double down with a follow-up statement. He said, fans instantly shot back. You mean Caitlyn Clark, right? Like, please. Everyone knows who he means. He can dress it up however he likes, but there is no historic growth without her name attached. And perhaps that's the lesson he is finally internalizing. Respect the individuals who make your league matters. Because when Caitlyn's contract expires, she'll have plenty of options. Broadcasting, endorsements, brand partnerships. She could leave tomorrow and not give it a second thought. And if she ever did, the WNBA would fall silent overnight. That's why Adam Silver is in damage control. He's trying to save not just the league's reputation, but its very viability, because this offseason, while Caitlyn is collecting six-figure checks for speaking, the WNBA is still pleading with networks for airtime. That disparity speaks volumes. So yes, apology or not, the message is undeniable. The WNBA needs Caitlin Clark far more than Caitlin Clark needs the WNBA. And if Silver genuinely wants to show he values her, he may need to do more than just apologize. He needs to overhaul the entire system that perpetuates this chaos, because one day, Caitlyn might simply stop answering his calls. So there you have it. Adam Silver is out there trying to manage a storm of his own creation, while Caitlin Clark continues to earn money and demonstrate her value without uttering a word. Do you believe she should accept his apology, or should she just walk away and build her own brand? Leave your thoughts below, click like, and subscribe for further updates on this developing story.